All right, let's check out NASA's SpaceX Crew 11 launch to the space station. Let's check this thing out. It might be good to watch. You never know.
Yeah, Xena is an amazing person, and watching her, along with Stephanie.
Dragon SpaceX confirmed crew displays are configured for launch.
You can.
SpaceX Dragon displays are configured for launch. To our family, friends, all who support us at SpaceX, NASA, JAXA, Roscosmos, thank you. Spasiba, arigato gozaimasu. For this freedom to explore, resilience to endure, may grace fly alongside this endeavor.
Crew 11, from all of us on the ground, we've enjoyed working with you in preparation for your mission. We look forward to continuing to do so in flight. Good luck. Enjoy the ride.
Good luck. I ain't going up there with y'all.
Yeah, and Xena, hitting the tone I would expect her to do. She is the consummate professional.
Especially
big message of thank you.
Yeah, the gratitude, the team focus, freedom, resilience. These are big themes. These are things that are important to her, and some great words from her. Let's send it now back out to our commentary team for the final minutes of Countdown.
But I'm sure it's probably beautiful.
And Samia, take it away.
It's definitely beautiful.
Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Nick. And that was beautiful what Xena had to say and reflecting on family and friends, but also that great shot you saw in that 2 box. That was from the International Space Station, that view as the space station actually going right over Florida and the Cape. So it's not just those on the ground that are excited. It's their teammates aboard the orbiting laboratory as well. Well, we're closing in on launch, 8.5 minutes away. It'll be about a 9-minute ride to orbit, which is around the time of the second stage cutoff. Dragon and the second stage will continue to coast for a few minutes after that, and then prior to separation. You'll be hearing some performance calls as we get into the final countdown and then after liftoff. These are SpaceX flight controllers reporting on trajectory, speed, booster, and performance, and the key milestones, but there are some other calls that you'll hear the crew make as well after liftoff. The crew will report out a few number and letter combinations, which mark different abort zones throughout the flight uphill and up the eastern seaboard. The first two, 1A and 1B, those are abort modes available while the first stage is firing. Now, the second are 2A through 2E. Those will come into play once the second stage kicks in, and then though we'll only hear the 2A call out from the team. Diverting a little bit from that naming system, you'll also hear the call Shannon, which refers to Shannon, Ireland. This call means the crew could target off the coast of Ireland if they needed to abort late in that second stage burn. You'll hear these different calls throughout the flight uphill, along with key performance callouts from the guidance, navigation, and control officers, and also the propulsion lead. So we're closing in on T-minus now 7 minutes, and we continue to keep an eye on the weather.
One of the next callouts we're listening for is that stage 1 engine chill has started. That's coming up in just a few seconds. And that is a key process that prepares the engines for flight.
Engine chill has started.
Right on time. Right now, propellant in the tanks is isolated from the engines, but we'll open the engine pre-valves and start trickling some liquid oxygen through the Merlin engine pumps, chilling the engines for the start sequence. We do this because the super chilled and densified liquid oxygen is really, really cold, and we use this process to bring the engine hardware down to a cooler temperature before flowing all of the LOX and propellant into it during flight. At liftoff, Falcon 9 is consuming 700 gallons of fuel per second, so engine chill helps us to prevent thermal shock and ensures nominal engine performance.
Let's go.
Shortly after, we should also hear the call out for stage 1 RP1.
Fuel load complete.
Right on time.
Oh, dang. Sound like her.
So now that engine chill is underway, we're looking ahead to the call out that RP1 load is complete, which just occurred a moment ago, and again prevents that thermal shock. You got to stretch before you can start running. And RP1 is densified kerosene or rocket fuel that will propel the crew into orbit. And all of that RP1 is now about to be fully loaded into the rocket, since we're previously heard that the second stage is completed or about to be completed here in just a couple moments. And then while we're still loading liquid oxygen on that first stage and second stages. This is the oxidizer that is needed to combine with the densified kerosene that just finished up loading. The RP1 liquid propellant needs an oxidizer to combine with everything in order to ignite. Coming up at the 5-minute mark, we'll hear the call for Dragon to configure for terminal count and then transition over to internal.
It's so interesting.
Over into internal power. And that should be happening in about a little less than 30 seconds from now as we continue to close in on that T-0 mark.
Astronauts are like rock stars to me. Like real rock stars. Look at it. Look like a missile. Just going to shoot up. I love it.
So next up in the countdown, the transporter erector, or TE, will begin to retract from Falcon 9. That is the large truss structure you see there standing next to the rocket. It's hinged at the base and connected to the launch mount beneath the first stage. First, the clamps around the second stage will begin to
Falcon
open.
9 tanks are pressing for strong back retract.
And we're hearing good callouts.
Dragon is in, configure for terminal count.
And we're continuing to hear great callouts over the nets. Then the TE will begin to pivot back, slowly swinging away from the rocket, and it will reach full recline in just about a minute.
Strong back retract has started.
And we are just beginning that strong back retraction process. It's called the strong back. It's also called the TE, or transporter erector. Same structure, different name. The TE does a lot more than just lean. It rolls Falcon 9 out to the pad, raises it vertical, and stays connected through the final seconds. It provides fuel, power, telemetry, and command connections between ground systems and the rocket. Those clamps at the top help stabilize the second stage during fueling, and they also help prevent movement in high winds. And once they open, which you can see on your screen, they are slowly pulling away.
It's opening.
And once they open fully, the rocket is fully free at the top.
Write in the comments if y'all will go on a shuttle.
Propellant continues to be loaded late here in the countdown as we're approaching at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. We're continuing to keep an eye on the weather, and that's going to be the biggest thing as everything continues to march towards that liftoff timeline. But you can see there the strong back starting to move ever so slowly away from the rocket. The clamp arms are open, and you also see those white clouds starting to billow off the rocket itself. Those are perfectly normal as it's the coolness of the propellant on board is mixing with that warm Florida air, and that's what causes that boil off, and that you heard Nick talk about it earlier when you have that steam come off the rocket, so it looks like a lot of clouds billowing went off it as well. But approaching the T-minus 3 minute mark, and that's when
Stage 1 lock load complete.
And that's what I was about to say, is that you're going to hear that liquid oxygen load be complete. So everything is primed and pretty much ready to go. And you'll see, again, those white clouds of vapor and a great view of the entire rocket as we continue to build closer to launch. And, of course, liquid oxygen, super chilled.
Dragon
so a little
is
bit
in terminal count and on internal power.
boils off in that warm Florida air. And now, load complete. We're on internal power. And we're also going to hear gas closeouts are going to start to begin as well. And then everything will get vented overboard through the umbilicals and strong back, and you may hear some of that venting noise come in soon.
So LOX is still loading for approximately another 20 seconds on stage 2, and once that is complete, we'll vent down the TE, which will produce a white cloud off the side of the rocket, which is normal and expected, just as Joseph had mentioned. And once LOX load is fully complete, that will mean that there are 1 million pounds of propellant loaded onto Falcon 9.
Wow.
Which will be RP1 and liquid oxygen. So that call out coming up.
Stage 2 lock load complete.
Right there.
So we just heard that confirmation of stage 2 liquid oxygen now complete, as we are now 1 minute and 50 seconds away from launch. We'll also hear that the gas closeouts have started, so we can expect loud
Dragon is
venting.
in auto idle.
You heard the call for auto idle. That puts the rocket in a state that the flight computers understand before it takes over, making sure that transition to the final countdown is smooth and that all flight computers on board are in sync.
Ground gas closeouts, expect loud venting.
Configured for launch, and there's the closeouts we've been
go.
talking about, and the venting that will be
Look at this,
shortly
guys.
followed.
Definitely got my attention.
1 minute and 10 seconds to liftoff of NASA SpaceX Crew 11.
1 minute.
FTS is armed. Falcon 9 is in startup and is now controlling.
Dragon is in countdown.
Flight computers switching to countdown mode now.
Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
SpaceX, Dragon, go for launch.
Go to launch. Can't even say it like that. All that power.
15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Ignition's full power and liftoff. Go Falcon. Go NASA. Go Crew 11.
Let's go.
Together we rise as NASA SpaceX Crew 11 heads up to the International
Yes.
Space
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
1.7 million pounds
Stage
of
1
thrust.
propulsion is nominal.
Propelling Falcon 9 as the vehicle pitching downrange and making its way up the East Coast, and will soon join Expedition 73 aboard the orbiting laboratory. So far, getting good callouts on that first stage performance.
We are now T plus 35 seconds into the Crew 11 mission on board Dragon and Falcon 9. The Falcon 9 engines
Stage 1 throttle down.
Are throttling down to help.
Power and telemetry are nominal.
I feel like I'm on
pass
shuttle
through
with
the
him.
period of max Q, or maximum aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle during ascent.
Max Q.
We just had max Q right there.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
Supersonic.
1 minute 9 seconds into what is a little bit more less than a 9-minute flight uphill as Dragon continuing.
Look at that speed.
Copy. 1 Bravo.
Look at the G-force.
And that 1 Bravo, again, that's the abort zone, that last abort zone for stage 1 if necessary. The crew already pulling over 2 Gs. And next, we're going to have a couple of events happen in rapid succession. We'll be getting ready for the second stage to warm up and have the second stage MVAC chill. And then we'll also have MECO, or main engine cutoff, where the 9 engines on the first stage will cut off ahead of the first and second stages. Will then be separating from one another. And then the single Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage will ignite and continue to carry Crew 11 to orbit while the first stage begins its journey back to Earth, as we're now 1 minute and 56 seconds into today's flight.
The 9 Merlin engines are starting to throttle down and are standing by for MECO, or main engine cutoff.
MVAC chill has started.
And we just heard that call out for MVAC chill. And coming up in under like 20 seconds, we have 5 events happening back to back. MECO,
Stage 1 throttle down.
Stage separation, Stage 1 flip, SES1, and the start of boost back burn. It's going to be pretty quick, so keep a close eye on the action and the mission event
Main engine cutoff.
tracker at the bottom of your screen.
Main engine cutoff.
Stage 2 Alpha.
Stage separation
2
confirmed.
Alpha. MVAC ignition.
Look at that, guys.
And there you see stage 1 pulling away.
Yes. Let me clap.
Lone Merlin vacuum engine for stage 2.
Y'all did good. Let's go.
And again, those happening in quick succession as we continue to get great views of that Florida coastline and the eastern seaboard there as Crew 11 continuing its path to orbit. Now approaching
Florida.
3 minutes into today's flight. Still a little ways to go,
going
about
space.
6 minutes left as they continue to climb their way up and eventually track down the International Space Station. And there, great see. You see the Merlin vacuum engine, the second stage on the right-hand side, and great views of the first stage that's making its return to Earth on the left.
Wow.
About 5.5 minutes of powered flight remaining as we continue to monitor the progress of both vehicles, Stage 2 and Crew 11, making the climb uphill, and Stage 1 looking to land again at Landing Zone 1, the last landing at that location for this Falcon 9 booster.
Dragon, SpaceX, nominal trajectory.
Dragon copies.
We're continuing to hear great call outs over the nets that both Dragon and Falcon are right on track to orbit.
Amazing,
so the first
man.
stage booster is now on its way to landing zone 1, and we just saw those grid fins open up on the left-hand side of your screen. The first stage has a couple events ahead of its landing. Stage 1 will start its entry burn, which will be the second of 3 burns to return the booster a few miles from its launch site at landing zone 1. During this entry burn, Falcon 9 will use its engines to pump the brakes to slow the vehicle down before it reaches the denser parts of the Earth's atmosphere. And if you didn't know, Falcon 9 has a complex heat shield that is designed to protect the engines and the vehicle from all that combined thermal and aerodynamic loading during max entry Q, which is the moment of max stress on the vehicle during entry. And that will be followed by a landing burn. And this burn will last for about...
Dragon, SpaceX, nominal trajectory.
Continuing to hear good callouts.
Great performance calls continue as we're now 5 minutes into today's
professionals.
flight. Still about 8.5 to go. A little bit more than that as the second stage continuing to perform nominally on the right-hand side. 2,400 meters per second. Crew 11 cruising into the upper echelons of the Earth's atmosphere while we continue to monitor the second stage on that left-hand side. And we'll also get continued guidance and navigation call-outs from the control officers here in SpaceX. Dragon is pointed in the right direction and continuing its flight. And again, that second stage is going to continue firing until close to that 9-minute mark in the flight. And accelerating Dragon to more than 17,000 miles per hour and placing the crew in orbit. And you'll hear good orbital insertion would be that call out. There's the single Merlin vacuum engine that can produce over 220,000
SpaceX, nominal trajectory.
pounds of thrust on that nominal trajectory you're hearing right now. And into the vacuum of space. Now approaching 6 minutes into today's flight, about 2 minutes and 40 plus seconds remaining.
We are coming up on the entry burn, which is just under 30 seconds from now. And so you'll see the first stage's center Merlin engine reignite as it comes back down to Earth. And after that, we will be approaching.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And there's the beginning of entry burn right there. Again, this is the second of 3 burns to return the booster to landing zone 1.
Burn shutdown.
We just made it through entry burn.
Man.
And you're getting some
Salute
great views
to the
too on that
astronauts.
stage 1's return to the Florida coastline. Again, landing at landing zone 1. While on the right-hand side, the second stage. And that Merlin vacuum engine continuing to propel Crew 11.
Dragon, SpaceX, nominal trajectory.
Into orbit. And
Dragon copies.
And again, great. And now with about 2 minutes left of powered flight remaining, still receiving those great calls from the crew on the ground, and we're getting those relays from Crew 11 Commander Xena Cardinal.
Stage 1 transonic.
We are now very quickly approaching the start of our landing burn, where 3 engines, engines 1, 5, and 9, will relight to help slow the vehicle down just before it touches down on landing zone 1.
That's crazy.
We should hopefully have some great tracking shots of that.
Stage
Great
1
technology, man. Great technology.
Stage 2, FTS is saved.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
Wow. Look at that. Unbelievable.
Fantastic return there.
Unbelievable, man. Let's go. Yeah, that's something to be proud about.
Successful landing of the first stage booster as we continue to follow along with a little less now than 1 minute of powered flight of the second stage. And you'll hear the call out SECO, or second engine cutoff. Is a great view there, glowing orange with the Earth eclipsing right around that Merlin vacuum engine, and everything continuing to perform nominally for NASA
Stage 2
SpaceX
is
Crew.
in terminal guidance.
About 20 more seconds remaining of powered flight, and we'll get those call-outs here shortly as everything continuing.
Shannon.
Copy, Shannon.
And there's the great call-out for Shannon we talked about earlier, that last abort zone, if necessary, where they can land off the coast of Shannon, Ireland.
SECO.
There we just heard that good call out for SECO, or second engine cutoff. Coming up next will be stage separation.
Dragon, SpaceX, nominal orbit insertion.
And that's the great call you want to hear.
Launch escape system disarmed.
A good look inside the trunk there as you're looking for that separation, but you wanted to hear that nominal orbital insertion as Crew 11 now has reached microgravity.
So now we'll
Okay.
continue to coast for a little bit after SECO to allow rates and motion from the burn to settle out. Right now we have a great view on our screen of the Dragon heat shield, actually, which is made up of similar materials. And there we have that Dragon and stage 2 separation. As we see Dragon coast into its orbit.
Amazing.
And a wonderful view there is Dragon Endeavour with Crew 11 on board. Safe.
Dragon separation confirmed.
And safe and...
Dragon, Chief Engineer on Dragon to ground. Xena, Mike, Kimya, Oleg, welcome to orbit. On behalf of the entire Falcon team, we thank you for flying with Falcon today and wish you a great mission. Dragon will take you from here. Over to Launch Director for a few words.
Talk to y'all later.
On behalf